So, it looks like maybe this year Walmart has spoiled E3. Let's talk about this. Hey everybody, what's going on? Brandon here. As you can see, I am without Nathan still. Hopefully he will be making his return next week so we can get everything back on schedule, but right now he is currently out of town for a bowling tournament, so he's out doing that, so I decided just to do another This Week in Geek by myself, so let's get started with this. Alright, so apparently Walmart of Canada might have caused a massive blunder by putting games that are supposed to be being released or showcased at E3 this year on their pre-order page, possibly spoiling a lot of early releases. Now, Bethesda is one of the biggest ones that's being known for being spoiled, with Rage 2 showing up on the pre-order page for Walmart in Canada on the website. Now, Bethesda's been really funny about the way they're handling this, not really denying or acknowledging that it's real. They actually tweeted back at Walmart of Canada with an image showing how they would improve the pre-order page for Rage 2. So I'm not really sure if it's real or if it's fake, and Bethesda's just kind of rickrolling people. If you remember correctly, Target actually last year released a pre-order page for a Bethesda Game of Thrones game that ended up being complete nonsense. So either that page was nonsense, or they are going to end up announcing maybe a Game of Thrones game this year at E3. I mean, we'll wait and see. It could end up happening, but it's hard to tell whether or not this is actually a real release or a real leak, or if it's just somebody kind of trolling, maybe somebody that works on the Walmart of Canada's website did it for fun just to see a reaction. Now, other games that have been announced were Just Cause 4, Gears of War 5. There was a couple other ones. I can't really remember all of them, but the biggest one being the Bethesda Rage 2 leak. Now, if this is real, I'm actually pretty excited about it. I loved the first game, Rage, for the Xbox 360. I had a ton of fun playing it. I really, really enjoyed it. It felt a lot like Mad Max, and the single-player campaign was fun. While it was rather short, it was fun. The multiplayer I wasn't a big fan of because it was only the vehicle combat, but I mean, maybe they can change that up this year if they do actually release Rage 2. But take all of this with a grain of salt, because more than likely some of these leaks might be fake. But we shall find out as soon as E3 launches. Alright, and also just announced, I guess Dota 2 has released a Battle Royale mode, as well as Battlerite has one planning on coming out in July. Now, these are two very popular free-to-play games on Steam, Dota 2 being one of the most massive games ever. So they are all. Dota 2's already released a Battle Royale game mode. I have not played it yet. I don't really play Dota 2 a whole lot. I've mentioned that in other videos. I might check it out. Battlerite also has a Battle Royale game mode that's supposed to be coming out in July, they said. And my thoughts on that are, it's a smart move to get more people interested in games that don't normally play those games. Like, if you don't play Dota 2 and you don't play Battlerite, it does actually give a lot more players that have not played those types of game an opportunity to say, oh, well, that's getting a Battle Royale mode. I'll download it and check it out. So it might actually be a good PR move, even if the Battle Royale modes aren't very good, to get other people interested in seeing these games and maybe trying out different games. Now, I would really like to see more growth on Battlerite. When it initially launched as free-to-play, I mean, it was out before with Founders Packs, but when it initially launched as free-to-play, it had a good amount of players, and I've started noticing players dropping off. I play it from time to time, at least a few times a week. I hop on there, and it's a ton of fun. But I would like to see the community grow more, so hopefully adding a Battle Royale mode to that will at least allow that community to grow. I really don't think Dota 2 needs any growth as far as the community is concerned, because, I mean, it's Dota 2, it's massive, it doesn't need any help. So I'm not really sure if Valve did this just to try to jump on the hype train, or if they kind of did it as a response to Battlerite announcing theirs. But moving on, hopefully you guys are interested in that, but if not, at least you know about it now. Moving on, and if you're an 80s and 90s movie fan, some news dropped last week that's actually just, it's awesome. I'm super pumped for it. Keanu Reeves and Alex Winters have signed on to do Bill and Ted 3. Now, this is huge. I loved the Bill and Ted movies when I was growing up, and to see them come back, I actually really like seeing sequels pick up years and years and years later, sometimes decades later, because it makes them more interesting. When the sequel to Dumb and Dumber released, I thought that was really awesome how they took place 20 years later, and with Cobra Kai, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute, just releasing 30 years later. I think it's an awesome idea to bring back Bill and Ted, maybe even have some form of spinoff. Maybe they have kids and it carries over onto another generation and another series. We'll see how that works. I'm not really sure what platform this new Bill and Ted 3 is going to be on. I'm not sure if it's going to be an actual theatrical release or if it's going to be a Netflix movie or even a Netflix series just titled Bill and Ted 3. It's really hard telling. If I had to put money on it, I would probably say it'll end up being a Netflix series, but who knows? It could end up being a theatrical release. I think they'd really be dropping the ball if they did that, though, because I mean, most people that were around for Bill and Ted 1 and 2 don't really have a lot of time to go to the movies, and it might actually bomb if it goes to the theaters. So hopefully they make a smart marketing move with that and get it where it needs to be. But we'll see. And lastly, last week here on YouTube, Red Cobra Kai Season 1 was released. Now, as somebody who watched all the Karate Kid movies growing up, even the one with Hilary Swank, which was the last one that came out, I believe, unless you count the one with Jackie Chan and Will Smith's son, but I really don't count that one. But I watched all the originals growing up, and I saw the trailer for this, and I loved it. And I'd been one of the guys who's seen the video that was here on YouTube that was describing how actually Daniel was the bully. And I thought that's the route they were going to go with this. And in a way, they sort of did. They did hint at it that in the show that Johnny, the way Johnny seen things was, you know, I was just trying to make up with my girlfriend, and this guy showed up and pushed me, and then he sucker punched me, and I defended myself. So it does, even though Johnny was the bully in the original Karate Kid, they at least let you see through his eyes some. And the way they did the show was awesome because they did it perfectly for two types of people. They did it for younger generation now, kids that can come in and watch the show, even if they haven't seen the original Karate Kid, even though I highly recommend you watch it before you watch the show. They did it in a way to where a younger generation can watch it and follow the younger characters leading on into the newer seasons that are going to be coming out, and actually be able to follow it and enjoy it without having to know what the backstory really is or watch the original movies. But they also did it to where if you are one of the people that watched the original films and you understand who these people are and you know everything that's happened and you watch this show 30 years later, it really does like put you in a different mindset because, I mean, back in the 80s and 90s, there was always the hero and the villain, and this show kind of shows you that it's not always like that. It's not always black and white, and you get to see things from both sides. Now, I really thought going into this, after watching the trailers, they were going to paint Daniel just to be a jerk, to where he was going to be the villain of the show, and based on the trailers, that's how you saw it, and I was actually really surprised at how they handled his character, because in some scenes, he was kind of a jerk, but also so was Johnny, and you got to see them both, you know, they're both grown up now, they're both tackling things in their lives, you know, Daniel's got a daughter that he's having a hard time connecting with, as well as a son, and he's got a business to run, and they really do a good job of taking the old classic Karate Kid, bringing it into now, and actually making it seem more realistic and not campy. Oh, well, Daniel's a hero, Johnny's the villain, sort of thing. They made it a real series where you can actually identify with these characters and understand where they were coming from. So, if you haven't seen Cobra Kai Season 1, I mean, you can get a free month of YouTube Red on YouTube, and you can binge watch the whole first season. I think it's 10 episodes. Each episode's like, some are 20 minutes, some are 30. I think the last episode's closer to 40. But I mean, it was a fun binge watch. I didn't even realize how much time had passed when I binge watched it. So, but yeah, that's all the time I got for today, guys, and I hope you guys like this video. Like I said, Nathan will be back next week. Sorry I didn't upload a whole lot of videos this week. It's been real hectic here in my house, and without having Nathan to back me up as far as content, it's been just me here. So hopefully you guys will tune in next week. Hopefully everything will be back on schedule, and I will see you guys next time.